Trying to position this with the light, it's hard. This is Mark. This is my Pro Mod. What my Pro Mod is a Wicked Edge 130 that I have customized in order to extend its capacity to allow me to sharpen anything from very small knives to very long knives. I've been tinkering and playing with these things for years, and everything that I've done, I have shared with Clay, and he's aware of it. We have looked to expand the ability, the capacity, the sharpening effectiveness and utilitarianness of the Wicked Edge models since the onset. I've used every model, and every model I've used it with the point of view of trying to sharpen every different shape, size knife that I could. And I've worked with them and adapted them to get the most out of every unit. In the back here, you can see I have one of my concept designs I made, and this was originally a Wicked Edge 130 vise here and a 130 vise there. You'll notice Gary Mayo has a post where he has the sliding track with two 130 vices. That's the same thing that I did. I made two of these, one for me and one for my buddy Ed Kenny. We affectionately called it the Big Rig. And this is on a sliding roller blocks on a sliding carriage that allowed us to move the vices in and out, so that with two vices, we clamped a large knife on the ends, and then in the center, I had this rolling carriage for the square bar without a vise, and then I could move my guide rods anywhere along. So I've been tinkering, playing with this for a long time, and Clay's aware of that. I went with this, but what happened with this was it was very complicated and not limited, but it was too much for most people's uses. You had to use something like a square to align the two vices, so the two vices were one behind the other. Then I had to worry about the height, because some knives you clamp this way, some knives. So it has a tremendous amount of variability and adjustability in it, and it does work well. But I moved on from the multi-vise setup to the single vise setup by adding the riser block. This device fell into my hands. This we call the outrigger. This was designed by a Wicked Edge user for a aftermarket knife sharpener that he was trying to design. Another guy trying to design a similar device to Clay's, and he found that his application didn't work well, so he had to augment it with this support mechanism that he named the outrigger. And I took it. He allowed me to use his prototype, and eventually he let me keep this bottom part, and I took it off of his device and I modified it to work with my Wicked Edge devices. And I've been using this support mechanism for years that allows me to move where I support the knife on the handle, just like my stabilizer. My stabilizer is taking me years to figure out how to work within this mechanical, machined, expensive design and bring it to something that could be used and could be removed. As you see here, the stabilizer is removed. So this is another way of augmenting the geometry or the functional ability of the Wicked Edge sharpeners with Clay's stabilizer for long and flexible knives. This is like his other adapters. It's a quick on, quick off. My solution, because I'm into utility, I'm into function, was to design my sharpener and add accessories and parts to my sharpener to expand its range. So this, with its support that's always in place, you can, take them off and not use them, but this always stayed there. So it became like commercial. It wasn't cool and sexy like this. It became more utilitarian. So I was looking to make this into something that was a little more functional. And because of my desire to expand the need, I learned by using a riser block, elevating the jawline higher relative to the height of the square bar, it allowed me to achieve lower angle bevels without the need to use Clay's low angle adapter. So I expanded the range by adding the height, and the height allowed me the place to put the support bracketry. And then eventually, where we developed that was with the riser blocks that we came out with that go underneath the vise. Here's a riser block underneath the vise. This one is the machine riser block, but we learned with the riser block underneath the vise that it raised that height, so this angle here with the height higher, this triangle gets larger. It's the same angle whether you're close or you're far. It's the same angle, but the space gets bigger. So this gave us the adjustability to achieve lower bevel angles with the knife clamped directly in the vise before we needed to look to use adapters. Most of my knives in my knife collection, chef knives, are 15, 16 degree bevels. So I was always looking to be able to clamp them in the vise, hold them securely, and achieve my bevel angles. Now, some of my knives were long and flexible. So when I came across this was a dream, but it's just so big and solid. So what I did is I spent the next couple years trying to figure out a way of fabricating this machining into something that was a little lighter and more affordable and removable. As you see, this is the stable riser, and it does go on and off. So I just explained the difference. So the takeaway is that this stable riser is not something that I just came out with because Clay was coming out with this. Clay and I have worked parallel for years looking to overcome these challenges that all of us have sharpening with Wicked Edge, achieving low bevel angles and achieving wide bevel angles, working within the parameters of the geometry. And this is what he came up with, his adapter. Mine is more of a use it and leave it. It's meant to stay there, but it's removable to get the supports out of the way if you don't need it. The riser always stays in place, and you use the riser, you won't feel it. It becomes very normal to you, but you get the advantages of the low angle. But at the same time, when you gain low angle with the height, you lose on the wide end. And I did a video the other day that explained that, and we'll go into that later. But now we have all the players in the room. We have Clay with his adapters. We have my stable riser that Doug and I designed, and we have a new young fella, Michael Fuller, that's making all kinds of accessories. It's a great day for Wicked Edge users to work with all these different accessories. Thanks.